Start with this from the Post-Millennial. The author of the author of the New York Times bestseller White Fragility, Robin DiAngelo, has been accused of plagiarizing some of her works from minority authors in her doctoral thesis. The complaint obtained by the Washington Free Beacon was filed with the University of Washington, from which DiAngelo received her PhD in multicultural education. The complaint regards her 2004 dissertation, Whiteness in Racial Dialogue, a Discourse Analysis, which sounds like a thrilling read, and apparently it's a plagiarized read on top of it. DiAngelo is accused of pulling two paragraphs from Northeastern University's Thomas Nikayama, an Asian American professor, and his co-author Robert Krizek, without proper attribution and omitting quotation marks and in-text citations. Large chunks of text from the author's work were used in DiAngelo's piece, with words here and there splitting the sections up. She's also accused of pulling from University of Wisconsin-Madison's Stacy Lee, an Asian American professor of education, in which Lee was summarizing the work of scholar David Theo Goldberg. Dozens of cases of passing off others' work as her own were discovered. So this is just the latest plagiarism scandal. And I have to say that I feel a little bit bad for Robin DiAngelo here because, my movie's coming out in a couple of weeks. She's a co-star in the film. And I'm sure she's really excited about that. And so this is an exciting time for all of us who worked tirelessly on this film. And now for Robin DiAngelo, this exciting time is marred by this plagiarism scandal, which is a real shame. But the good news, here's the good news for Robin DiAngelo, and I mean this sincerely, as a just a way of maybe she could take some solace in this. That I will say that when the movie comes out, nobody will be talking about the plagiarism allegations anymore. That will not be the humiliating thing that people will be focused on when the movie comes out, which comes out on September 13th, by the way. Get tickets at amoracist.com. As far as these allegations go, I will say that it's, of course, no surprise. All of these people are plagiarizing constantly, which is why we get these plagiarism scandals all the time. There's just like an orgy of intellectual theft going on. Modern left-wing scholars, quote unquote, in general, are just plagiarizing incessantly. And these anti-racist types in particular are doing it. So, this is the tip of the iceberg, of the plagiarism iceberg. I don't know if anyone's checked, say, Ibram X. Kendi yet. I would be shocked if there weren't multiple examples of plagiarism in his work. I'm not accusing him. I don't know that. To be clear, I'm not saying that there is. I have no idea. I just don't know. I am saying that he's exactly the kind of ridiculous intellectual lightweight who has made his living in a fraudulent, made-up, phony field who would plagiarize. But I don't know. I just don't know. But the truth is that, you can hardly blame Robin DiAngelo for plagiarizing. Throw a stone in a room full of anti-racist scholars, and I'm not saying that you should. I'm not advocating violence here. I mean metaphorically. Throw a metaphorical stone in a room full of anti-racist scholars, and you'll hit a plagiarist, most likely. And if the stone bounced off of 10 of their heads like a rock skipping across a pond, you'd probably hit 10 plagiarists. And the reason is that the whole entire field is so intellectually bankrupt, just down to its core. And that's why you get all this. Because again, most areas of scholarly pursuits in modern academia are intellectually bankrupt in this way. It's really impossible to come up with a new idea or new insight for these people. Because there is, in most of these areas, there is at most one central idea, and every other idea just restates the central idea. There's one central idea, it's the only idea in the whole field, and so if you're writing a paper, all you can really do is just repeat the same idea over and over again. So for anti-racist scholars, and I use the term scholar, of course, very loosely, but for these types, the one single idea they have is that white people are inherently racist and are inherently oppressors, and black people are inherently victims and are inherently oppressed. And that is really it. That is the entirety of what they have to say. They really don't have anything else to say but that. That is the entire thing. That's the entire deal. If you were to go to school and take a PhD level course in anti-racism, whatever, it's just going to be that. I mean, you could spend 7 years studying it and reading all the books, and it just boils down to that. That's it. That's all you need to know. And when there's really one idea, and it's such a flimsy, useless idea as that, well, it's no surprise that there's a lot of recycling. And they don't even know that they're doing it. Everything they say is recycled. And when they're recycling, are they recycling their own work? Are they recycling someone else's? They don't know. It's the same thing over and over again. So that's not really a defense of Robin DiAngelo, but I guess all I'll say is, like, you try being in the anti-racist field for 20 years and not plagiarize. You can't. It's impossible. You just run out of stuff to say after a while. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.